section. What did you learn?
Okay. I learned about data.
Okay.
Um, uh, you started with data.
Okay.
So I learned that data is a raw fact and is unprocessed information. I
Uh,
also learned about data analytics.
Okay.
I learned the types of data analytics, the application of data analytics,
Okay.
which are uh, uh, marketing analytics, finance, financial analytics, operational analytics, and business.
Okay.
Yeah. I learned about types of data analytics,
Okay.
and I learned tools that we use in data analytics, which are Power BI, Python, Advanced Excel, SQL.
All right. A good one. You actually responded well, showing that you. It's like I'm going to ask you these questions. I hope you were not reading them from any screen, because if that is not the
No,
case,
no,
is that
just from my head.
you actually study the notes of yesterday class. That is good. So please keep it up. That's the very huge encouragement.
Yes, sir.
Every teacher is always happy when the student he or she is teaching is responding to what he or she must have been taught so far. All right. So just a quick summary of what we did yesterday. Being the very first section, we looked at general introduction to data analytics as one of the most trending tech fields. We were made to
Yes,
understand the the meaning of data analytics. We said data analytics is the process of reprocessing data for insights, such as identifying trends, pattern, and correlation that can
yes,
influence smart decision making. So, in other words, the whole essence of our existence as data analysts is for us to look at data and be able to identify patterns, trends, and correlation that can guide either an individual or a business organization in terms of making a decision. So we also talk about
yes.
different types of data analytics, like you highlighted. We talk about descriptive analysis.
Yeah,
We talk about diagnostic
descriptive.
analysis.
Yes,
We talk about prescriptive and predictive. And we also
and
cited,
predictive.
yeah, we also cited questions that could arise when you perform each of these type of what analysis. I said the first one, which is descriptive,
Analysis.
will always poses a question like what happened, and then the diagnostic will always pose a
Yeah,
question that that compel you to want to find out why some things happen. Why
yes,
predictive will always pose a
yes.
question of what
The,
will happen. So these are
what?
the three key
Yes.
uh,
Right.
data analytic types that we must know as data analysts. We also talk about few tools or the
Yes.
most used data analytic tools, which happen to be the one we register for in this particular training. I identified them yesterday from what I listed. I listed five. And I
Yeah.
told us that we will only learn what
Yes.
four, starting from Power BI,
4. Yeah.
Python,
Yeah.
Advanced Excel, and what
Advanced Excel.
SQL. So
SQL.
now the basis of all of them is Excel. Every data analyst is expected to start from Excel because Excel is like the foundation. Excel is like the first one that people have been using over the years before the
I don't know.
discovery of all these
Okay.
uh, Tableau, Power BI, Python. Excel has been in existence before their invention or before creating modern,
Yeah.
or let's say libraries or functions within those languages for analyzing data. You wanted to ask question before.
Yes. I wanted to ask if I can record this.
Yes, I've taught you how to do that. I don't have to be showing you. Whenever you want to record, all you need is just to be sending your requests. I hope you still remember the process.
Okay.
So just
Yeah, sure.
okay,
Okay. I've
smart.
sent it.
Just once you have captured it, that is good. All
Yes,
right.
sir.
So tonight, being the day two, we are focusing on advanced Excel for data analytics.
Yes.
Advanced
Plan.
Excel
Okay.
data analytics. Advanced, advanced Excel for data analytics. For data analytics. So that shall be our focus tonight. Now, as you can hear, advanced Excel is not basic Excel. So you don't expect me to start teaching you how to impute
Yes.
data. So it is expected that you are already familiar with the basic of Excel. So if you are not familiar, what I would advise you is to, well, let me ask you, are you familiar with Excel? I think the last time I
Yes,
asked, you said, it
some,
has been
yes,
a
but
while, right?
but I don't know if I can still remember some things
Okay,
like
see
Excel
what
because
you will do.
I
What
think I did training.
mm, yes, what you will do now, because we cannot afford to go to the basic Excel. It's a different class entirely. If I deviate from data analytics to teaching you basic
Okay.
Excel, we'll end up biting the time allocated for this training. So that alone can take like a month if I am introducing you to Excel for the very first time. We might take quite a number of days before we can get it sorted out.
But
But this is what you do, or this is what you will do.
I can impute data.
Okay, good. Yes, so that is fine.
Okay.
That is fine. Because the only thing is that that basic knowledge, we have a way of you understanding what I'm going to teach you faster. That is the only
Mm.
advantage. Not that at some point we will not be using some of those basic techniques. We'll still be using them, but it is good for someone who wants to go
Mm.
into this field, data analytics, should have at least 30 to 40% knowledge of
Yeah.
Excel foundation. So this is what I'm going to do for you. I believe you must have
Yes.
subscribed to that YouTube page. Have you subscribed to that YouTube page? Have you subscribed to my YouTube page? Is that what the
Yes. No, no, but
now what you would do is that what you would do the end
okay.
of this class, I sent you the yesterday link. So once you click on that link, it will take you to my YouTube page. I think we have about 300 or
Okay.
290 video already there, and they are all master classes video. Now you subscribe. Once you subscribe,
Okay.
you search through the video, you will see introduction to Excel. So any video that carry that
Okay.
description, watch it. There are classes on Excel, full
Okay.
classes on Excel that I have taken that I've also uploaded. So just go there and look for introduction to Excel. Once you see a video with that title, watch it. That
Okay.
will settle everything. Or you can as well make a random research on your own. You can go to YouTube and say you want to learn
Mm.
introduction to Excel, just to enable us to move on with the advance. Okay. So, but despite
Okay.
that, we
Okay.
are going straight to the advance because I wasn't the one that actually taught you that knowledge, that beginning part of Excel. I will have to start by giving out the
Mm.
definition just to carry you along. So I will just take the definition and then show us how to open it on our system. Though these are part of the basics, but I just have to pick this one so that you can move with me. All right. So let's quickly look at what is
Okay.
Excel
Okay.
before we talk about the advanced aspect of it, which is applied in data analytics. How can we define Excel? Now, Microsoft Excel is a popular spreadsheet software application. Microsoft Excel is a popular spreadsheet software application developed by Microsoft. Developed by Microsoft. So the key words here is, generally in computing, we have two categories of software. If a software is not an application, that software falls under system software. Now, when we say that Excel is an
Yes.
application software, in other words, we are saying that this is a software that was created to solve a specific problem. It is not part of generalized software. For example, your Microsoft Windows, like your Windows 10, your Windows 8, they are operating system that oversees the entire computer world operation. But Excel is not for that purpose. It has its own specialization. It has what it was created for. So once a software is described as an application, it means that what that software was not created for everything. It has a particular area that software can be plugged in. Just like your WhatsApp, outside instant messaging and teleconferencing like video, there is nothing else you can do with WhatsApp, which means that what it has its own word specification. Are we together? So I'm only
Yes.
trying to qualify why
Yes,
I
sir.
use the word Excel is a um, powerful spreadsheet application software. So now you
Okay.
understand why I use the word application. Now, there is another keyword that I use there, which I'm going to really expatiate on. Another word that you need to know, why is this word used in defining Excel spreadsheets? Spreadsheets. Spreadsheet. So the word spreadsheet is to give us a picture of how powerful or the working environment of Excel. So that is actually telling us that it's spread wide. It means that what Microsoft Excel has a very wide or broad working what environment. That is the reason why it's recommended for us as one of the applications we can use for analyzing data, because I hope you are following. Now, because
Yes. Yes.
for you to analyze data, the data must be supported. The data must be held by a container. There must be a platform where you load in the data. There must be a data holder, something that must hold the data for you. before you can analyze it. So that spreadsheet is offering us a platform, is offering us an interface, very wide one, that can accommodate so many what data record. That is the reason why Excel is recommended as one of the tool for data what analysis, because of its spreadsheet what nature.
Analysis.
It has a very wide space that can accommodate much data, though it has its own limitation, which we are going to find out in a moment, or because we are definitely, I'm going to talk about it because in case you want to know the capacity of record a single Excel sheet can handle or load. A single sheet can only process, for example, this is what we are talking about. This is already computed data that we are going to be working with. Okay, so now, if, for example, I want to know how many how many entries can a single sheet process, or how many record I can analyze on Excel single sheet. So it means that I need to know the total numbers of rows, as I'm calling these terms. Now, I believe you know what I'm talking about. The total number of rows, because the rows are the horizontal what spaces, which are labeled with what numbers. So once I have an idea of the total number of rows I have in a single sheet, that tells me what the volume of record or data I can analyze within a set single sheet. Now, the simple logic to know that is that because right now I can see only from 1 to 20, from 1 to 20. So how do I jump? How do I load the last one? To know the last one is just for you to click somewhere, click on any of the cell, hold down the control and the shift button, and then press down the down arrow button. So that will automatically what take you to let's say that will take you to the last control. I'm coming, let me see. So it's not, you are not including the shift button, just control and down arrow button will take you to the last what row. What can you see here? We have 1,048,576 what rows, which means that a single Excel sheet can hold 1,048,576 records for you to process or for you to analyze. So if I want to go back, I will just hold down the control button and then press the up arrow button, and that will take me back to the what? To the beginning. All right. So just in case you also want to know the total number of attributes that can be created in a single Excel sheet. What do I mean by attributes? Attribute means all this heading. Region is one attribute. Country is another attribute. So the headers in the given data sets, they are referred to as what? Attributes or features. Okay. So if somebody also maybe in an interview, they want to know whether I know the total number of headings I can create on a single sheet. Now, don't forget that the rows represent the record, while the columns represent your headers. So if somebody is asking you that in a single Excel sheet, how many headers, data sets, or data table can be created, it means the person expects you to know how many of these alphabets do we have in a single sheet. So if I start counting now, let's say column A is 1, B is 2, C is 3. Before I get to the last column, how many will I have counted? That is what the person wants to know. So in a single sheet, you can notice that if you don't know it before now, in a single Excel sheet, there are 16,384 columns. In a single Excel sheet, there are 16,384 columns. So which means that if I start counting column A as 1, before I get to the last one, I must have counted what? 16,384. That is a whole lot of what? So you can see, so if I want to measure the spreadsheet, which talks about how big the working space is, it has to be measured by the column number and the what? The row number. So how do I also see the last one without me manually scrolling? Just like the way we were able to get the total number of rows. So next time you want to check the total number of columns, or you want to jump from the first column to the last one, just hold down the same control button. Then on your keyboard, you see the right arrow button. Once you press it, it will jump towards to the last column. So the last column label is what? SFD. So these are some of the things you need to know. In an interview, they can just ask you that what is the last label, or what is the last column label? You say what? SFD. They can also ask you what is the first column label. Is what? Is letter A. All right. So we need to. I just have to bring in this because that is not actually what I am targeting, but because I am not the one that taught you Excel for the first time, that is why I'm trying to. What I just showed you now is part of what you ought to have known from the basic, but I just want us to be on the same page. That is why. So now I will now come back to my main topic. All right. So my main topic is what? Now that we know Excel to be one of our data analysis tool, as now from what I just explained, you also find out that Excel has limitation. So you can write it down, Excel limitation. So that let me just highlight some of the limitations so that you see the reason why you shouldn't stop learning data analytics at Excel. Don't learn only Excel and say you are okay, because there are limitations. That is what I want to let you know. No matter how good you are with Excel, there are limitations. There are certain data sets you'll be given to analyze that Excel will not be able to fit in. So what are these limitations? Number one, Excel can only analyze. Hope you are writing it down. Excel limitation.
Yes, sir.
Excel can only analyze 1,048,576 what? Record per sheet. So this is the limitation. So supposing, are you with me?
Yes.
Now, supposing a company consults you as a data analyst, and reaching there, you now discover that the volume of their data is 2 million. Can you still use Excel in that scenario?
No.
That is the reason why you shouldn't just learn Excel and say you are okay to be a data analyst. There are limitations. And I can assure you there are companies out there that have been collecting data for the past 20 years, like MTN. So you don't expect their database to have less than 1 million or that number that I just called. So their database must have run into what? Millions, not even 1 million. So they can give you their data and ask you to analyze their data based on what? Years. So that's kind of data that is more than this number of record cannot be analyzed with Excel. Now, this is one question that I know that you may want to ask. Now, because if we are saying that a single sheet has 5 over 1 million plus, can't we split the record in different sheets? So that if I'm given 2 million record to manage, since one sheet can handle 1 million plus, then I can split it. No, your analysis will not be precise because everything has to be organized as a single file. Everything has to be organized as a single file. So the moment you split it, except you are going to use Excel Power Query to begin to what? Join the data, which sometimes is very, very stressful. So why don't you use program like Python, which does not have any limit? Give Python even the highest figure in the world, let's say trillion data, it can pull it without stressing itself. So I just wanted you to know that there are what limitation using Excel for data analysis. Are you following?
Yes,
so it then means that Excel is only good for small data analysis. All right, that's what it means. Data that are within thousands. Because even as it can take this 1 million, you cannot bring a data equal to this. If you try loading data set that is equal to this on a sheet, you will see the way the sheet will be crashing. It will load, it will disappear because it's like you have used the entire space. So you are not supposed to even load data that is up to the highest capacity. Maybe you should load data that is below this number so that it can have some breathing space. I hope I'm communicating.
Yes.
All right, so now that we understand that, let's look at some of the approach in data analytics, right? Data analytics approach, some of the approach in data analytics, or let's say procedures. Now, the journey does not start from here. The journey starts from what? Getting your data from wherever they are. So I think I mentioned it the other time. Once you are consulted as a data analyst, once you get to that organization, the first thing to do is to ask for data. You ask for the data. So once you throw that question on the organization, that will make them to begin to know where their data is. Some will tell you their data are in the website. Their data is stored in their flash drive. Some will say their data is stored in the cloud. That is, they have Google Drive. They have purchased this with Google. So that is why we must know how to gather our data. So the first thing to do, right, the first approach is what? Data wrangling. So let me write it very well so that you understand it. So data wrangling is the first thing. Before we start deploying Excel advanced to analyze data, we need to learn how can we even sort the data we want to analyze. So data wrangling is the first activity we should do. Data wrangling. So let's quickly look at what is data wrangling. What is data wrangling? Is the first thing I want us to look at, because it's actually a grammar. If you are not in the field of data science or data analytics, you may not really know what is data wrangling. All right, so let's start by knowing what is data wrangling. Right, data wrangling is a crucial step. Data wrangling is a crucial step in data analytics. Is a crucial step in data analytics. Are you with me? In data in data analytics process, comma, in data analytics process, comma, reliable and ready for analysis. Sorry, I think I missed it up. Sorry. Where did I stop?
You say you stopped at reliable.
No, read what you, okay, now let's take it again, please. Sorry, let's take it again, please. So data wrangling is also known as data wrangling is also known as data monging. So data monging. So is
Okay.
that we call it this, or we call it what? Data monging or merging. Data monging. So this is another common term that we normally use to refer to what the exercise called data wrangling. I said data wrangling is also known as what? Data monging, comma,
Data
is the
mongering.
process of cleaning. Good. The process is the process of cleaning. Process of cleaning. So that is the keyword. That is the keyword. That is the keyword. Data is the process of what? Cleaning. Are you with me? The process of what?
Yeah.
Cleaning, comma,
Cleaning.
transforming. Process of cleaning, transforming, and preparing raw data for analysis. And preparing raw data for analysis. Preparing raw data for analysis. Am I communicating? Preparing what?
Yeah.
Raw data for what?
Data.
Analysis. Now, the keyword
Analysis.
is this. The keyword is this. Once you ask for data, like I told you, the first thing, once you are consulted, you ask for data. Now, once they have given you the data, let's assume just like what I have on the screen now. I asked for their data and they have given me this as a company. And as a data analyst, I am not supposed to start analyzing until I examine the level of the data what? Perfection. The data must be perfected. That is the cleaning. That is the cleaning. So your first
Okay.
job is not to start analyzing. Once you ask for data and they have given you the data, the next thing is for you to do what? To
Clean.
examine the data, study the data, try and understand the data. In that process of studying the data, you will definitely know whether there are some discrepancies, whether there are some flaws that need to be what? Adjusted before you commence your analysis. So that is how we work as data analysts. Do not allow assumption. Assumption is a deadly act in this field. You don't assume. Now, don't forget that you are like a counselor. You are like a special advisor to the company with your insights that you analyze from data. So, which means that you can also influence them to lose money, to invest what? Wrongly. Just like if you take your time and do a professional work, you will influence them making right decision. The same thing if you are careless, if you have this overconfidence that as soon as they give you data, you don't want to bother whether the data is okay, you just start your analysis, you end up presenting wrong statistics. And that wrong statistics can lead to what? Wrong decision making. So this field is a very serious field. This is not field for people that are not ready to do the right thing. Because you can mislead, for example, just imagine you are the data analyst to Dangote Nigeria, whatever limited, that invest billions of naira, and you now do your analysis maybe casually, you are distracting the class. Let's say you now do your analysis, you do your analysis casually when somebody wants to invest billions of naira. You now come up with a kind of conclusion that they should invest 5 billion here, they should invest 10 billion there, they should invest another 1 billion somewhere else. And at the end of the day, unknowing that you did not even do your proper analysis, so you will have caused them a lot of damage. Some company can arrest you. So that is why this work is work that require critical thinking. It's work that require focus. It's not what you do, sharp, sharp, sharp. No, that is why I'm taking my time to guide you through the what, the approach, the procedures. What is the first procedure? You ask for data. All right. But in our own case now,
Yeah.
that we are learning, we are not working for any organization. So I'm going to teach you how you can sort data from open source. There is a website where companies have, or people that have taken a project or a research have stored what? Data. That these are live data. These are data that were extracted from live events. You know, we cannot just come here now and say, I'll just show you how to compute some variables and say we'll start. No, because that variable I'm going to compute now. If I am asked what led to those variables, there is no evidence. I'm just assuming. I can't use such a data set to train you. So this data set we are seeing now, this is a data set that was put together during live events in a company. That is what you have on the screen. This is not what I computed by assuming value. No, that is the kind of data that you should analyze. Okay, so if the company you are working for right now have a well-structured data, and you ask for a permission that you are learning data analytics and you want to use it to practice, you want to draw some insight that can help them to make smart decisions, and they grant you that access. Those are the kind of data. If they don't, then you leverage on the platform I am going to show you, where you can always get what? Company what? Data. These companies have already allowed the data to be accessed, to be used by anyone to practice. So there's no offense there. Okay, so the first approach I said is what? You ask for data. The second approach, you study, write it down. The second approach is study to understand the data. That is the second approach. Study to understand the data. And I'm going to point out some reasons why studying and understanding whatever data you are given to analyze is paramount. Now, do you know that these data that I am displaying on the screen, you were not there when it was computed, right? You are not the one that
Yes.
computed. So you can see that it is normal. It is not because you don't know your work for you to take some time to understand it, because you are not the one that structured the data. So everything is normal for you to say, okay, this data set, I want to find out how many features are in this data set. Now go back to your note and write under that option. You write what to look at for. Under that approach, under that approach where I said you are to study and understand your data, what are the questions to ask that will help you to understand the data? The first question is what? How many attributes or how many headers are in the data set? How many attributes or how many headers are in the data set? That is the first question. Now I'm going to answer that question. I'm going to show you the techniques that I'm going to use. So how many attributes or how many headers are in the data set? So in the course of you understanding the data, always ask yourself that question. Now, what are attributes? Look up. These are attributes. Total profit is an attribute. Total cost is another word, attribute. So instead of me counting, that is why it is called advanced Excel. You are supposed to use advanced techniques to know that, not counting manually. A basic Excel user will be counting 1, 2. You don't need that. This is advanced. You should know the technique that you can use to get you the value. What you will do is that just try and understand the beginning of the data. The beginning of this data, the beginning header is what? Region, right? Once you have clicked on it, once you have clicked on that first header, I want to select everything horizontally and stop here. So how do I do that? You just hold down the control button on your keyboard, hold down the shift button on your keyboard, you press down the control and the shift button, then you locate the right arrow button. As soon as you press it, it said nowhere to stop. You see what happened? Excel knows that
Yes.
you want it to select only the header from where you started from to where you have information. So now that you have selected that, how do I now know how many of them? Look up. Can you see here? I don't know if you are seeing where I'm navigating at. Can you see it?
Count 14.
Good.
Yes.
At 14. So which means that what Excel is saying that I've counted 14 what headers. So now you now know that
Okay.
this data set is very much data. Imagine having good 14 header. That is going to that should inform you that you have a lot of what analysis to perform. That is the benefit of you understanding the number of header. Let's look at the next question you ask yourself under that approach. The next question you ask yourself is,
Okay.
how many records are in the data frame or data set? How many records are in the data frame or the data set? That is the next question you ask yourself. How many records? How many records?
Okay.
Records are the horizontal what entries. Remember that what the whole of this now, this header is a record. Hope you know that. Though is taken as what
Yes.
header. So let's leave it. So the record start from row 2. So you want to know now, a basic Excel user will be doing something like this, will be scrolling up. Can you see the way I'm scrolling now? This is how the person want to know where the
Yes.
data stop. You don't need that. As an advanced user of Excel, just the same way I taught you the other time, just click on the first record like this. And then hold down the control button and the shift, then press down the down arrow button. You see that what Excel will select and stop exactly where you have the last record. So, and then if you also check here, how many of them do you have here? If you check here, if you check this same section, you will see that what you have what 100, which means that what there are 100 entries in this particular data set. Now, there is something I want you to understand. You can note it down somewhere. You know, in the course of the training, I'll be using the word data set, data frame, data set, data frame. So in data analytics, when someone uses the word data set, what does that mean? You're right. Data set is the collection of data objects and series. Data set is the collection of data objects and series. The collection of data objects and series. When it is spelled what? Data set. I said what? Collection. Collection of what? Data objects.
And series.
Objects and what? Series. Now, where add this note, where objects, so that anytime I use these words as I continue with the training, you should know what I'm talking about. Where objects means what? Headings. And series means record. So just take note of that as we proceed. Anytime I use the word objects, I'm talking about what? The headings. Anytime I use the word series, I'm talking about what? The record. So now, when we said that data set is the collection of what? Objects and what? Series. Now, it means that what? The columns or the header plus the record forms what? Data set. That is what we are saying. What we are saying is that what?
Okay.
Why should I describe this as data set? Because the addition of all the column or the header plus the addition of all the record gives me what? Data sets. Data set. Now, when you say data frame, you are talking about what? The dimension of the entire data. The dimension of the entire data is usually measured by the number of headings and the number of what? Rows. So if I am given a data set and I want to know the frame, there is no way I can know the frame without knowing the total number of what? Headers. There is no way I can know the frame without knowing the total number of what entries. That is why we just learned how to check total number of record and how to check total number of what columns. So that is part of what, or the questions you are expected to ask yourself under study and understanding what the data. Always find out how many headers are in the data set. Always find out how many records are in the data set. Any question? So that we can go to the next question. While you are trying to understand your data, what are the questions? Because what I'm trying to teach you here is what the reasoning pattern. How does an average data analyst reason when he or she is trying to understand a given data set? That is what I'm trying to explain since. So he or she will always want to know how many header. He or she will always want to know how many what record. Now the next question, question 3, is what?
I have a question.
Okay.
Okay, you say the header, the heading, that is the object, meaning the heading. I understood it very well, but the record, please, can you show me the record from this data now?
The whole of this selection.
Where are the series?
Yes, you can see that record 2, record 3, record 4. When you trace them horizontally, they are record. The whole of this area that I have selected as a record. This record at row 2. This is a record at row 3. This is a record at row 4. So horizontally, like this, they are the records. I hope that is clear.
Okay. Yes, okay.
Okay, so now let's go back to the third question I wanted to ask. What is the next question you should ask yourself while trying to understand the data you are given? What is the next question? The next question is, what are the data types under each of the headings? What are the data types under each of the heading or column? So it's another major question that will also help you to understand the data you are given to analyze. Are you with me? Now, look at it here.
Yes.
In programming, anything that have to do with tests, they are called what? Strings. These are tests, right? These are tests. These are tests.
Yes.
Are tests. These are tests. But this is not test. This is what? Dates. Right? This is date. Okay. This is what? This is integer. This is date. This is integer. Integer is when it does not have decimal number or decimal point. When it is whole number, it's called what? Integer in programming. All right. Now this one is not integer. Yes. This one is what? Floats. Float is any number type that has decimal units. In programming, we refer to them as what? Floating number, or you call them double. Okay. Now this is float. This is float. In fact, all the monetary data, all the monetary record, they are what? Float number. They have decimal what? Unit. Now, another thing I want to draw your attention to is this. We need to know which ones are unique data and what? Categorical data. You should be able to separate categorical data from unique data in a given data set. So if I may just explain to you, look up. You can see that Australia Ocean is here, and also what? Repeated what? Is also repeated somewhere here. You also have it here. You have it here, you have it here. So which means that what is a categorical data? What makes it categorical data? Because it can be classified. We can say, okay, all these ones, they are under what? Australia and what? Oceania. We can classify this one again. We can have all the Europe under what? Europe. Now, this is also a classified data. Tuvalu can be repeated. Cameroon can be repeated. This is the classified data. This is also classified data because the values are repeated. These are classified data, classified
Yes.
data, classified data. Now, let me show you this. Is this one classified data? No. There is no number here
No.
that is
No.
repeated. These are unique words.
Repeated.
Good. These are. So that
Letter.
is another thing you should watch out for. So now,
Okay.
are you following? We are looking at data analytics
Yeah.
approach. We are looking at if you are given data as a data analyst, what should be your approach? How do you start your journey? You start the journey by understanding the data, and it is the process of trying to understand the data that we are asking ourselves some questions, and we are providing what answer to those questions.
Solution.
So we'll come back to this when we fully got our data. But now I want to assume that we have no data because I have already sought out this data before this class. So I wouldn't want you to just start learning from this. I want to take you back to where did I got this data from? I need to go and show you so that you can do that before the next class. So before the next class, you must have visited that place to get 2 to 3 different data sets. Because when you analyze
Okay.
only one data set throughout the time of your training, you may not be that vast in what drafting analysis question because you are used to only one. So the way you will learn and be good is by learning how to analyze different data. Don't stay on one data. Once you have analyzed one data, use another one because every data have their own peculiarity. All right. So the way you reason when you are dealing with sales data is different from the way you will reason when you are dealing with medical data. All right. So that is why your exposure to different data will expand your what your data analytics what skills. So now let's quickly assume that we don't have data. So you write how to get data from an open source. How to get data from an open source. That is the next topic. How to get data from an open source. So when we say open source, it means that what? Free. How to get free data. Data that somebody has uploaded before now, and the person for the person to have uploaded it is not a crime. There's something you need to understand about internet usage. This video of this lecture, if after this class I upload it to my YouTube page, nobody commit offense for coming across the video and watching the video free without paying me because I am the one that put it there. I actually want them to what? To access it. Are you with me? So when we say open source, it means that
Yes,
what?
sir.
Data that you can get and you will not receive any what? Query. So, right.
Yes, sir.
For data analytics learners, or machine learning, you are advised to go
Mm-hmm.
to a website, right? Visit www.kaggle. This is one of the most used open source for gathering data. This is where most of us go to get data, well structured data.kaggle.com. Kaggle.com. So this website has a lot of projects, different student projects. The data that they use in handling that project is what we take, not their project. Okay, so just like is
Okay.
also a platform where you can learn this program that you are learning from Digitency Hub. So what we are going there to do is
Okay.
that we want to go there and collect the data some of their students use for their project. So we are leaving the project, we are taking data because it has been proven that what that place is very rich when it comes to what data across different what terrain. So now how do we let's quickly go to so you write your step number one, have an email address. Step number one, before you can access data from this place, you must use an email. because email is their marketing strategy. So they will be able to, send you some adverts. That is where they are making their money from. So, like I said, the first step
Okay.
for you to be able to access data from this open source called Kaggle.com, have an email. So I have an email. I think I have already registered. So once you have an email, your next then visit the website. I hope you are writing your step because I'm going to give you assignment on this.
Yes.
Visit the website. So what is the website?
Okay.
www.cargo.com. So I'll type it. Let's wait for it to open. I hope the internet should be able to. So you can see it now, your machine learning. So which means, like I said, it's also a platform where you can call and check what some other persons are doing. I think that is the same line with what you are learning. So let's still give it some time to open. So while we are waiting for it, if you have any question, you can ask. And I hope you are learning from Digital Hub.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yeah. Yes.
Thank you very much for helping us to share our adverts. Please help us
Yeah,
to
I
continue.
can hear you. Yes, I'm
Network.
doing that already.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Okay.
Hope you
Yeah,
can
I
hear
can
me.
hear you.
Okay, so as you can see, so this
I
is
can hear you.
this is the website.
Yeah, I
This is
can
the
hear you.
website. So this is the website. So once you get here, the next thing is for you to register. For in my own case, I have already registered. Okay,
Hello?
so you have to register. I can hear you, except if you cannot hear me. Can you hear me? Let me find out before I proceed.
But I'm not seeing I'm not seeing you again.
Okay, let me share
I
again.
said I'm not seeing your screen again.
But I check now. Check whether you can see it now. Can you see it? Can you see my screen now? Can you see it?
I
Fine.
think it's loading.
Okay, so just hold on. That should be next. Come on.
Mhm.
So once you can see it, let me know so that I can
Yes.
continue. Can you see it now?
Yes, I can double click to enter full screen. It has not loaded.
Can you see it?
You see, okay, I've not started seeing it. No, no.
Okay, just hold on. Once you can see it, just let me know. That is from your end, your network.
No, I'm not seeing it.
To come up. Once you can see it,
I'm
I'm
not seeing
waiting.
it.